Hey everybody, it's me, cottagepk. Contrary to popular belief, YouTubers do not die when they stop uploading. Most of the time, anyway. But today's topic is Lost. And since my last upload, I'll be honest, I've felt quite a bit lost. I wanted to make more videos, and I tried, but nothing felt right because nothing felt like it was coming from a good place. And right now I feel like I'm in a good place. I'm just dealing with a lot of the hardship that I've had to endure for the last year. And it really sucks. Like, I don't want to get too into everything that happened, but let's just say I had a really shitty father, and he made things even shittier. For a brief period of time, I ended up homeless as well. And, you know, it wasn't great, but I got through it, and now I'm back where I was, still with an amazing girl, and still trying to make my life as best as I can make it. So, lost. When I feel lost, I end up losing myself, and that may seem kind of, to the point, but the reason I say that is because when I feel that way, it feels like I don't have the right string of emotions, or I have the right feelings for anything. I feel like a husk. I feel like I can just take a beating and I don't want to do anything about it. I just keep taking in all the pain, and I keep holding it in, and I'm not letting it out in a productive way. In fact, when I was at my worst over there, I wasn't going to therapy. I wasn't managing my medication by going to psychiatric appointments. But I was still taking my medicine because I knew that I had to. I knew that in order to make things a little bit easier, that I had to make sure that I was properly balanced in my brain, at least. And I used I don't know how to say this properly, but I'll just say it's like a lot of highs in order to get over the pain, and that wasn't a good thing, because it would just be for a short period of time that I would feel good, and yeah, it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth anything that I did. It wasn't worth going there, and it wasn't worth the pain that I had to deal with. And I had a lot of time to reflect because I drove from California all the way over here, and long ride. I'll say that, a very long ride, and I was able to really think about everything, really understand how I felt, and really open up to myself about the feelings and how hurt I was. I listened to a really great audiobook on the way as well, called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by, I believe the author was Mark Manson, but I'm not completely sure. And I think it's a really great book. I think it really taught me a lot of really good ways to improve my life through my own self. A really important part of the book was talking about responsibility, and being responsible for your feelings and for the things that happen to you in life. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you are the cause of the issue that happens to you, but you are responsible for the way that you respond to it, and emotions, and just everything that has to deal with it afterwards. So you're responsible for your actions that you take after something happens, for the emotions that you feel, and obviously for the things that you say, and all that encompasses that. And I thought that was a really very interesting point, because for a lot of the time that I was out there, I was just blaming my dad, the people around me, and I, that didn't necessarily help me. You know, it felt good to put the blame on somebody else, but it didn't make anything easier. And I thought that was very important for finding myself again, because like I said, I felt quite lost. I felt like a husk of my former self, and I didn't feel like I was really there. I didn't feel like I could take in all the pain and I could hold it in me, but I didn't feel like I was responding to it appropriately. And sure enough, I wasn't. You know, I would take out my frustration and anger on people that I cared about and people that actually were trying to help me, and it sucked because that's not what I wanted to do. That's not how I want to be. And I don't know. I just want to be able to just be good, you know, morally or whatever it is. I just want to keep goodness inside me and hold on to the good things and respond to things in a good way, in an appropriate way, something that will help me truly cope with what I'm dealing with. And, you know, I was able to get through it all, even though for a short period of time I didn't have a home. And, you know, that's, unfortunately, there's a statistic, and I don't remember the exact statistic, I think it was something around 70% of people with mental illness end up homeless at some point in their life. And it sucks when you become, like, in your mind, like in my mind, I was replaying that statistic in my head because I read it somewhere before it happened, and I was like, I'm just another number. And that didn't help me. That didn't make anything easier. But I'm very grateful for the people I had in my life to help me get out of it, and that are still helping me find a better place for myself. I have a very amazing girlfriend that is always there for me, and I can't tell you how important it is. You know, I have a lot of people that message me and comment, and they say that, you know, my son, daughter, boyfriend, etc., is dealing with schizophrenia, mental illness, yada yada, and I don't know what to do, how to help them. And the main thing is that you just have to be there for them. And I'm just glad that I had somebody there for me. You know, it can be tough, and it can be really hard, but you have to, it's up to them, obviously, to set goals, to move on with their life, and to, you know, make positive strides to get to a better place. But, you know, you have to be there, and sometimes you have to hold their hand through it. You know, I was fortunate enough to have somebody that was willing to do that for me, and I couldn't be more thankful, because if I didn't have her, I don't know where I would be. I don't know how I would be dealing with what was going on, and how everything that happened would have turned out. I probably wouldn't even be here. I'm gonna be honest. You know, thanks to her, and, you know, of course I worked hard as well, but, you know, it was her really that helped me find a good place to live, get the money together, and all that stuff. And, you know, I mean, I tried to work as much as I could to make all of it possible. And when I was, you know, closer to the deadline and running short, it was tough to really deal with the fact that I didn't feel like I could meet my goals, and I had someone there that was going to help me meet my goals. Someone there that was going to make sure that everything I needed was met and was done properly. And, you know, that's what I feel is needed for people that are lost. You know, you need to have a good support system. When I when I was going through my best bit of, I want to say recovery, but I'm not sure if that's the right word, but when I was feeling well, when I was feeling right, and when I was uploading more regularly, was when I was feeling better about myself and feeling better about the situation I was in. And I had a good medical support team. I had a loving girlfriend, and I had people that really cared about me around me. And sometimes, that can change. If you go to a bad place, sometimes the people that are around you may seem bad, or they may not want to deal with you anymore. And that can suck. But the thing is, you have to be, like I said earlier, responsible for yourself, in that you have to learn to deal with that, deal with your emotions toward that, and just find a way to move on. Set goals that are realistic, that you can have little milestones that help you get there. For me, it was like trying to make like $150 a day, because I drive with Uber and Lyft and stuff like that, and you can see how much you make, and obviously there are expenses in that. Excuse me. It was in order to be able to get to where I'm at right now. And I had someone that was there with me as often as she could be, and would call me, FaceTime me and everything when she was away, and make sure I was doing well, and just made sure that I was doing everything I could. And because of that, I felt like I wanted to make sure I was doing everything I could, because I didn't want to disappoint the people that were trying to support me, trying to make sure I was doing well in life. And I feel like I'm finding myself now. And again, anyway, I feel like I'm getting to a better place once again in my life, and I'm gonna really try to keep doing that and keep getting there. And maybe this was a little bit more about me than about finding a way to get to find yourself again. But I don't know, I'm just kind of ranting at this point. But yeah, I just think it's really important to be able to find yourself, to be responsible, to establish a good support system with people that are willing to support you. And that can be hard. Things that you can do to ensure that: maybe find yourself a mentor or a good friend, an old teacher of yours that you really liked, or someone in the community. You have to be able to find something that works for you. Some people use religion. Some people use financial goals. Some people use drugs and stuff like that. And I'm not saying you should do that. There are obviously bad ways and good ways. But you have to find what works for you and what helps you get out of there. I think the most important things are to find a good mentor, someone you can look up to, someone that you can relate to. Find yourself a good support network. Go to group therapy, go to regular therapy. Medicine management, very important. And find people that really care about you and want to see you succeed. Sometimes you'll have friends that you just have around for the good times, and when it gets down to what really matters, they're not there. They're not there to see you succeed or to support you. They'll give every excuse to not be around during the bad times, but whenever things are good, they're there. And you have to make sure you find people that are willing to be there during the bad times and see you at your worst and want to see you at your best. And that, I think, is probably the best way you can go about it. Anyway, I think that's all I really can say about the topic for now. Obviously, I'm still trying to find myself, still trying to make things happen. Things are a little tough right now for me, but I want to keep trying to do this it's a part of my recovery process, and I just want to be able to build a support network of people that can help me and help each other. Um, you know, I'm thinking about different ways to make this a more active community, and you know, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm gonna look into ways to make this a little bit better for everybody involved. So, hope to see you next time. This is Cottagepk signing out. Peace out, y'all.